Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. Hope everyone is doing well. Like last week, we are again live here, and this time I'm not going to explain any boring topic. This time I'll be discussing with you guys why mathematics is important for us. So let's begin. I'll be sharing my screens with you guys. So before we start, you might have seen around you guys that many students doing education at school, they mostly hate one subject. And I know that everyone would have got their subject in their minds, that is nothing but mathematics. Only those who are smarter, who are sharper, love maths. When teacher enters inside the classroom and when she takes the survey in the class about how many students love math, she just hears, I hate maths. No, miss, I hate maths. I can't do maths. It's not possible for me. And for some people, when they are asked to count or calculate something, don't give it to me. मुझे maths नहीं आती. So now in this session, we will be discussing why do we need to study maths. So let's begin. So our objectives are that in this presentation you will realize and understand why mathematics is important for us, not for only students, for us as parents, as siblings, as businessmen, as doctors, or as any profession. You will recognize the application of mathematics around us. हम कोई भी चीज़ अगर हम पढ़ते हैं, we are not doing it vain. Whatever we are studying, there has to be a purpose behind it. Because Allah has made everything in this world with a purpose. The way even the cats around us or the dogs around us are there for a purpose. So, why study maths? We will know the purpose. Ponder what would have happened if there would be no mathematics. We will take a session and we will think about it that क्या होता अगर हमारे पास maths ना होती? What would be the effects on us? And then we will explore how mathematics improves mindset level. I will discuss with you guys statistics of different mindset levels with maths and without maths. And then we will realize why mathematics is hard for majority of students. So let's proceed. Now, the first thing, why is mathematics so important? If I say that there is no place where there is no math, let me give you an example. When you enter your house, you open the door. Before you open the door, you knock on the door. You know the sound which is coming out? It has some frequency. You know that door in front of you has a height. When the architecture people were fixing the door at the entrance, अगर ये थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा बड़ा होता या अगर ज़्यादा छोटा होता, so what would have happened? You will not have a proper door. You won't be able to enter the house. You won't be able to secure your house properly. Then, have you ever seen the hinges? What are hinges? वो मैकेनिक जो होती है, जो एक पार्ट होता है हमारे डोर के साथ लगा होता है, जिसके थ्रू आपका दरवाज़ा लटका होता है दीवार के साथ. So, अगर वो हिंज प्रॉपरली काम ना करती, इसको अगर प्रॉपरली डिज़ाइन ना किया गया होता, तो आपका डोर जो है प्रॉपरली ओपन या क्लोज नहीं होता. Have you ever seen doors which make a lot of noise? It's actually because of maths. Then, if I say that we all stand on math or we are all existing because of math, then I wouldn't be wrong. How? If I give you an example, think about yourself. Do you have a particular height? Do you have a particular weight? How old are you? When was your birthday? When did you finish your schooling? When did you start your first job? This is all mathematics. Number of family members you have at home, number of skills you have, number of pages you read a day, number of phone calls you do in a day, number of contacts you have in your list, number of friends you have, everything is math. And even more. If I just go in, chemical reactions, number of moles, everything is math. So life is basically incomplete without math, and it is also impossible without math. We will just look into it how. Why it's impossible? अगर अगर देखा जाए, so we work on time. If I just give an example right now, I scheduled my live class 4 o'clock p.m. So what is 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock is time. So if we see, every person of us, every one of us is going on time, is working on time, is living according to time. And so if there was no time, we wouldn't know when to get up, when to sleep, when to go, when to do, when to play, when to meet. We will have no scheduling there. Every subject you study has lots to do with math. So we will just look into it how. सिर्फ मैथ्स में मैथ्स नहीं होती है. You go to any subject, even if for those who are running away from math, even if they're running away from math, either they go to a subject which has no math to do as a thing, so they will find math there because there is no subject which has math, no math in it. Everything has a math. Either it's a bit of math or either it's lots of math. Everything has math in it. For example, if you talk about money, everyone is living for money and everyone lives for money and everyone is earning money this time. So money is everywhere and so there is math everywhere. Then building houses, you're living in a house which was constructed by builders. So how did they make it? The height of your wall, how big your house is, number of rooms in your house, plates you're going to use in your house, everything is math. Number of family members and much more. So let's move on. Now, let's talk about where is math. So you might have known much about mathematics now. We have seen math everywhere, and now I think that you guys, the ones who are watching this, are also watching math around them, moving around, doodling in front of them. So the first thing, as I told you guys, time. Time is very precious, and time will never come back. Once it goes, and will never return. Even if you're talking about memories, like your parents' photographs, your sister's photographs, your birthday parties. So they were on a specific date at a specific time. Number of people attended it. You were specific age at that time, and so there is math. And the things you purchased, the things you bought, the gifts you received, everything is math. Then, second most common thing, or second most common form of mathematics around us is money. Every day, either we are buying or we are selling something or we are earning. That is money. Without money, no one can exist. So, what would have happened? We will discuss this later, but just think from now onwards कि क्या होता अगर पैसे ना होते. Or think about who discovered money. क्या effects होते will just come to in the next slide. Then we have investment. Every one of us has invested money. For the ones who have just started working, they are making up enough money to invest. So they spend half their life working and they gather enough money to support them when they get old. How? They collect money and then they invest so that when they are old, when they're unable to work, what they do is they have invested some money and so they will get some money back, that is in form of profit, to support them when they are not able to earn. Then let's talk about architecture. So architecture, how do I find maths there? Do you know Architecture is full of maths. Before building, the plan the plans are made out on a piece of paper to how many rooms they have to keep, to how many bedrooms they have to keep, how big should the kitchen be, how big should the bedroom be, where to put which lights, how many lights. So everything is math. People actually measure things out. They calculate things out. So architecture, either from bridges to roads to houses to farmhouses, everywhere there is math. Now let's talk about medical. Have you seen drama serials coming up these days? When you see people dying on the hospital bed, and do you see those machineries working and those graphs coming out, which shows your heartbeat, which shows the way your heart is pumping? Those graphs are not coming from nowhere. They're actually mathematics, and we have just seen the previous session that those curved graphs are basically graphs made from quadratic equations. We'll be learning more about it in the following sessions. So graphs, it's all mathematics. Basically, you see the sound, the lights coming up in the operation theater, the files they have, the databases in the computer, having the names of all the patients are basically maths. So let me check out for some comments if anybody has. If you want to put some comments out, the first thing you have to do is you have to register yourself with StreamYard so that I can see your comments there. So let's see. Okay, so Mustafa Rakhani is saying that I didn't understand money. So basically, where money is around us, money is in form of buying things. For example, you have gone to a supermarket and you want to buy some money there. Sorry, you want to buy some packs of chips there. तो अब आप क्या करेंगे? For example, if you want to buy one pack of chip that costs rupees 15, so you'll be giving 15 rupees to the shopkeeper. So there is money around it. कि जहाँ पे पैसे इस्तेमाल करते हैं वहाँ आपके पास मैथ्स. So if I say that you are going to buy something from supermarket, you're actually going to use money there, and so there is math around. So I hope it's clear. So let's move on. Okay. So back to our slide. Then we were talking about degrees. So when we were so small, like when we were in KG1, we used to think that when I complete my schooling, I'll go to university, then I'll get some degrees. So जितनी ज़्यादा आपके पास degrees होती हैं, the more education, the more qualified you get. So that's the more number of degrees you have. That's actually mathematics. अच्छा वहाँ पे भी एक चीज़ आती है, when you are studying, you're actually paying your fee. So you can't pay fee like that without using numbers. So there are numbers, so there is math around. Then number of friends in your chat box, I just discussed it. Number of rooms in your house, number of floors, fees. If we talk about, let's suppose, economic discussion, every day you can see a graph coming up on the news channel of how many cases have increased in Pakistan regarding coronavirus. So that graph, those numbers are basically mathematics. Then if you see number of beds in a hospital these days, number of groceries people are buying out, the interest rate in the banks these days, कितना इंटरेस्ट लग रहा है, कितनी डिपॉजिटिंग हो रही है, कितने लोग लोन ले रहे हैं, कितने लोग एम्प्लॉय हो रहे हैं, कितने लोग क्या कहते हैं अनएम्प्लॉय हो रहे हैं एवरी डे. दैट इज मैथ्स अराउंड एवरी डे. So if we discuss about today, there was solar eclipse. What is solar eclipse? When a moon comes in between a sun and an earth, the sun gets covered by the moon. That's your solar eclipse. So किस एंगल से आपका मून कवर कर रहा है सन को, कितना कवर कर रहा है, इज इट पार्शियल, इज इट फुल, दैट इज ऑल्सो मैथ अराउंड. सन और अर्थ कितना दूर है, द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन इट, दैट्स ऑल्सो मैथ. द लाइट ऑफ द सन कमिंग टू द surface of the moon, that's also math. And that light is coming on earth also, that is also math. So math is everywhere around. You can't just ignore it. So a better option is to be friends with it and to enjoy it, because math is not, that's not something to learn or to study. Math is something to play with. So we'll see how. So let's move on. So as I told you guys earlier, now close your eyes and imagine what would have happened if there was no math. We just talked about different application of maths. Imagine करें कि अब math ही नहीं है हमारे आसपास. What would have happened? If I would say there would be no life. How there is no life? Because if I see myself, I have a specific height, I have a specific weight, size and everything. So अगर math ही ना होता, so I wouldn't be there then. How would I record time? मुझे कैसे पता कि अभी क्या टाइम हो रहा है? I myself work on time. I stand on time. Like you people, you also go to school on time. You wake up at time. So if there was no time, how would you even get up? Just work, go to school, study. Your life would be a mess then. How would you earn your living? For those people who are earning, who are working, अगर मैथ ही ना होती तो पैसे नहीं होते. If there was no money, then how would you live? You would die. You would be very poor. You wouldn't be able to buy anything. Have you ever seen animals? Just try it. If you go to a jungle, if you put some food out there, all the animals would rush in to get their piece first. They will fight. They will get their piece first. They will try to be there first. They will actually compete. So why do they compete? Compete is a natural thing. If there is no competition between the animals, each and every animal would be hungry. So this would happen with humans as well. So everything would be for free, and only those people would get their things which would be stronger, which would fight, which would compete. What about those who don't have those capabilities of fighting and for competing? They wouldn't be able to survive. सो अगर आप बायोलॉजी पढ़ते हैं तो बायोलॉजी में कंपटीशन जो है ये एनिमल्स में ये नेचुरल चीज़ है. अगर ये कंपटीशन करने वाले ही एनिमल्स सर्वाइव करते हैं, ये एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. जो ऐसे एनिमल्स कॉम्पीट नहीं करते या वो कंपटीशन में हिस्सा नहीं लेते हैं या किसी चीज़ में स्ट्राइव नहीं करते हैं, you see that they don't survive. So this would happen with humans as well. So we would have to compete for our resources, and if we wouldn't do that, then we wouldn't be able to survive. So let's move on. So now, something to learn. We will see. I know that students are watching this session. So to develop your interest, as I told you guys earlier, that there is no subject without math. So where is math in every subject? This is the question. So the first thing, let's talk about English. Have you ever written a letter? Have your teacher ever told you to count the letters which you have written in a letter? Number of words. Write a letter of these many words. So have you counted your words in the letter? There is math. You know what you have to do? I mentioned the date on each and every page number. There is math. Open so and so page number. There is math. Let's talk about physics and maths. Actually, if I say physics and maths are, you say brother and sister, or if you say brothers, what? They can't live without each other. Physics relies on math, but math is independent. Math doesn't rely on physics. If we say that math is a bigger brother and physics is a smaller brother, small brothers always take help from the bigger ones. So physics relies on math, but math doesn't rely on physics. Because if I tell you guys that every concept of physics can be proved by mathematics. If you're doing Newton's law, if you're doing motion, if you're doing a different topic in physics, each and every topic of physics, either it is generators, either it is magnetic fields, each and every topic of physics can be proved in mathematics by the process of calculus. Let's come to chemistry. Have you ever done an experiment in the chemistry lab checking out the pH using a litmus paper or the universal indicator. So those pHs or those pOH systems can be calculated in chemistry using mathematics. This was something which was from lower mathematics. Let me give you another example. Atomic mass, number of moles, proton number, electron number. This is all maths there. Then energy change, exothermic reaction, endothermic reaction. There is maths there. Then we have, if you go to a higher level, that's your A levels, then enthalpy change. There is math. When you do an experiment of a calorimeter, you measure the temperature there, the amount you add, the amount of acid you add, that's all maths there. Then you have entropy, distribution, diffusion is there. कितनी disturbance हमारे आसपास हो रही है. So if I just discharge a perfume out here in my room, तो my particles move करेंगे. So that calculation कितनी movement हो रही है, कितनी disturbance हो गई है, that is basically your entropy. And then we have element related calculus. There's number of moles, titration, that's all. So there is more, but this is just you can just assume for now. Then in biology, where do we see math? Some people say that biology is all about body parts or systems inside you. No, actually, your systems work on mathematics. Number of blood cells you have, number of cells which are many. You know what? If I talk about red blood cells only exist for 4 months, and after that they die, and there is a need to make new red blood cells. Okay, this is something you should know that's number, that's specific number. Then number of proteins made in your body, डीएनए स्ट्रक्चर्स इन योर न्यूक्लियस, कितने आपके पास बेसिस हैं, कितने प्रोटीन्स बनेंगे, कितने राइबोसोम्स काम करेंगे. ईच एंड एवरी ऑर्गन of our body has some antigens, some proteins which represents कि ये भी हमारे body part है. That's why you see that people who have kidney failures, they can't get anybody's kidney. They must have a kidney which has an antigen matching, just like their antigen, their body's antigen, their kidney's antigen. If the antigen is different, then they cannot transplant their kidney in someone's body. So that's the mathematics behind it. Your immune system, number of memory cells you have, number of white blood cells you have. Then if you talk about magnification, how do we know that even we have cells in it? Cells in ourselves. That each and every part of the body is made up of cells. So it's all done through magnification by using a microscope. As microscope has some lenses, they magnify things larger. They make small, very small things bigger for us to see. So that's magnification. कितना magnify कर रहे हैं, that is maths. Scale drawings, but whenever they saw something in the microscope, they just drew it out for us so that we can see it. That is scale drawing. कितना बड़ा करके draw किया है. Then, as I discussed, bases in our DNA. And there is a lot more to see about mathematics. If I say, we talk about biodiversity, कितने species हमारे पास हैं, पर्शन कोएफिशिएंट, ये बहुत चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो हमारे मैथमेटिक्स में यूज़ होती है. रैंकिंग सिस्टम होते हैं हमारे पास, डाइल्यूशन सिस्टम होते हैं, सीरियल डाइल्यूशन, दिस ऑल मैथमेटिक्स. ये सब क्या की जाती है और उसके बाद हम इस एक्सपेरिमेंट्स को परफॉर्म करते हैं. यू माइट हैव सीन के कलेक्टिंग करते हैं, सर्वेज लेते हैं, वो सब कुछ रिकॉर्ड होता है एक टेबल की फॉर्मेट में बायोलॉजी में, और उसके ऊपर हम लोग ग्राफ ड्रॉ करते हैं, एनालिसिस करते हैं. In business, you all know it deals with investments. कितना इन्वेस्ट करना है, कितना प्रॉफिट मिल रहा है, कितना लॉस हुआ है, कमीशन. If you go to a supermarket, you see sale there. Sale क्यों होता है कि now they need to sell something, they need to get new stock. For that purpose, they need to sell out everything they have. So they put on sale. Selling में अक्सर वो ज़्यादा कमाते भी हैं या उनको लॉस भी होता है because they are selling it at a low price. Then commission. Many people who don't work through an organization, they work on commission. कि अगर किसी ने उनका काम किया, so they will get so and so money. I give an example of insurance companies. These days, they are hiring employees, which when they sell insurance, then only they get some money. So this is an example of commission over here. Economics. In today's world, every country has a low income right now, low economic going down. Why? Because people are not working. Every industry is not working. And so they are facing loss. Savings कितना हमने सेव किया हुआ है for our maybe nowadays people who don't have jobs, how are they living? They're working on the savings. वो money जिन्होंने save करके रखी हुई थी for their further use. Tourism, the more people come in your country, the more they go around in different places to visit. Like you know that Pakistan is famous for its tourism. That's your tourism and finance. So I'll be looking at the comment section now for comments. So if you guys have comments, first register yourself on StreamYard and then I'll be able to answer. So there is no comment yet. So let's move back. So let's go back now. So if we talk about accounts, every company has an accountant which regulates how much money a company is earning a month, how much the how much money a company has spent, and how much money a company has saved. The market amount, basically, that's your market amount. Then computer, every bit of computer is made up of zeros and one. You know what? Even if typing T in your keyboard, that has something which has a colon zero one. What is zero and one? Zero one is the computer language. That's a machine language. Our computer cannot understand what I'm speaking right now. So if I'm typing T over here, our would be the translator changes our this language into a machine language that is zero and one. If you study further, zero and one is nothing but on and off. Zero is for off and one is for on. If you see how physics is connected to computers over here. Zero means no correct, one means correct. So this is how our computers work. Number of files and so language conversions is what we are using maths in. So let's move on. Now, I'll be discussing with you guys how math has good effects on a student's mindset. It was surveyed by different psychologists on different students doing maths. One group of students were doing math and the other group wasn't doing math. So they concluded that those students who do maths every day have active electrical impulses happening in their brain. That is their brain synapses. You know that our neurons are working. How do they work? They work through synapses happening every second in our brain. If these doesn't happen, our brain wouldn't work. You wouldn't respond. I wouldn't be speaking in front of you, and there would be no life. So they have said that the ones who do math every day or regularly, those students are very active in concerning with their synapse in the brain. They are very good. They have very good responses. But those who are not doing math, they don't have good synapses, and they result to be lazy, weak, and they result to be very dumb. But for those students who are doing maths every day, they are really active, they are smarter, and they're fast, and they're intelligent. Unlike those who don't do maths. So let's move on. Yeah, one more thing. You know what? Our brain is composed of different parts. So we will see that we already know that there is a special part of brain which has to do everything with math, only with math. So you can imagine if we are not doing math, it means one part of my brain is not working. So just a second. So now we will discuss why do students hate math. Then there must be a reason if math is so useful to us. So why do they hate maths then? How to overcome this? So first we will see there's some main reasons why students hate math or why people hate math. First thing is phobia. When people are studying math, they have been hearing since long कि भाई मैथ्स बहुत हार्ड होता है, मैथ्स बहुत बोरिंग होता है, मैथ्स बहुत मुश्किल होता है. So this thing or this phobia or this scare in their heart states, which prevents them in showing good in maths. Then you might have heard this कि अगर आपने सुना होगा अगर खाना अच्छा चाहिए तो किसी अच्छे आदमी से पकवाना है. ये जितना अच्छा शेफ होगा उतना अच्छा खाना होगा. The same happens over here. The more good the teacher is, the more beautiful the maths will appear. किस कोई सब्जेक्ट अच्छा या बुरा नहीं होता है. Physics is not bad, chemistry is not bad. It depends on the teacher who teaches it. If she does it beautifully, if she makes it interesting, then students will also enjoy doing it, and so they will love math. Let me give my example. I used to love maths till grade 7 or 8. Then I started hating math because it was not because math was bad. It was difficult, but it was because I didn't have regular teachers, and so I started hating math. But when I started teaching math, I realized how beautiful mathematics is. Because math is not bad. It's just like a game. It depends on the one who teaches you. Then the third main reason was because some students have some disability. Maybe some students, if you might have seen many movies coming out these days, which tells us that not all students are fit. If they are not able to learn, it doesn't mean that they are dumb or they are not capable of learning. It's because they're going through or they have some disability. So the first thing is, if those students have some disability, it doesn't mean that they will not be able to learn maths the whole life. They will be able to learn maths, but they will learn a different way. They are fond of learning in different way. If I tell you about Einstein, he had some disability. He used to fail in his classroom. If you research, you will see that he used to tie his button in a different way. But then you can see that how this uh, child with disabilities was able to give out laws. Talk about Newton. Newton was also a failure. He used to be sent out of the classroom. He used to look so shabby. But then he gave out laws, and the whole physics now stands on Newton, Newton physics. So, so if those students have a disability, it doesn't mean that they are useless or they are dumb. They are actually very skillful, but they have to be taught in a different way, in an interactive way. So we will see how. So the first thing, phobia. That's the scary thing in your heart that we hate math. So what to do then? How to overcome it? So this can be overcome by the parents or by the teachers or the friends. How? Before introducing students directly towards math, what we can do is we can introduce mathematics to our students indirectly, and by developing their interest in students by involving them in maths by giving them some games. You might have seen Subway Surfers in mobile phones these days, Temple Run. These are some games where they're actually using math. The number of magnets they collect, the number of money they have, the amount they have to pay to buy something. There is maths how they can develop their skills. Second thing is by sending them towards the supermarket to buy some things, to buy their what things they want to buy. Like if they want to buy some sweets, they can go and buy for themselves. This way, they will be developing their skills of buying. Similarly, by playing different games, and so what will happen is they will be fond of maths, and so they will not be scared of maths when they actually see math. Now, teachers, how can they improve teaching? By using different starter activities, by playing with them, by talking to them about different things, discussing the application, giving them research work, by involving different skills, different games, different ways of teaching, they can make math interesting. Now, what about the students who have disabilities? If they have disabilities, what you guys can do, what the teachers can do is they can uh, they can learn different ways of teaching, or they can be trained to teach students who are disabled. If I talk about disabilities like dyslexia, there are many types. Some of them might have problem in getting the imaginary picture in the mind. Some of them might see letters moving around them. So this is not something that's the end of the life. No, they can learn, but they have to learn different way. If I give an example of a movie that stars Amin Per, so how did that teacher teach the student? By writing on sand, by different ways. Such students learn more by pictorial, by concrete, and less by abstract. What is this? Concrete is basically when you are asking the students to touch something. So the more they touch, the more they learn. What is pictorial? When they see something. So actually math is planned with these three things. One is the concrete, then comes the pictorial, and then comes the abstract. When students are doing Montessori, they are taught with these three things. So if this also proven by scientists that the more senses a student uses while studying, the more he or she learns. Like you have seen, why students learn better in classroom than online? Why? Or better in classroom or online with a teacher than doing alone? Because when a student is learning in the classroom, he's not only using his brain, he's using his eyes, he's using his ears, and he's using his mouth. So he's going to use four senses. But if I compare with those students who are doing privately or doing studies by themselves, they're only using their mind, and they're only using their mouth to read. So they're using less senses. The more senses they use to study, the more and better the students will learn. So such students with disabilities they are taught with their senses, with different activities. And so in these days, in this 21st century, different subjects are planned differently. So mathematics is mostly planned on these three things. One is the concrete, then comes the pictorial, and then comes the abstract. So let's move on. Now, I hope this was a source of motivation to create interest in students regarding mathematics. And yeah, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you guys have some questions, you can write me at, or you can write in the comments below. You can write an email to me at rahaton@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Take care and love.